So, yes, you can leave your pets in the home. No, you don't have to board them. But we do want you to put them away. And it's not that we're worried about your pets being a hazard to us or biting us. I know everybody's pets are friendly when we come around to paint. We just don't want them to get in the paint. And when your pets get comfortable with us, they start to wander into an area where the wall might be wet or the door frame might be wet, and they don't know that the paint's wet. So they brush against it, and now they got wet paint on their fur, and then they go somewhere else and rub that wet paint on something else. So another thing that can happen is we're in their space and they get a little spooked and they might take off and then run through one of our paint trays or something, and then they step in the paint. So this kind of stuff happens. I know it happened at my own home, because we always ask our clients to put the pet away so they don't get in the way and get in the paint. But when my guys were painting my own house, they decided in their wisdom that they didn't need to do that. And so I happened to come home and was checking on the guys, and they were painting in the kitchen, and one of my cats heard me come home and came running up from the basement and ran through the door and 1 foot into the kitchen, ran right through the paint tray. And so my cat got paint on all 4 of his feet, and that freaked it out. And so it ran next into the dining room, did a loop around the dining room, and then ran through the foyer, ran up under the end table in the living room, behind the couch, through the next end table, through the sunroom, back through the same way, and then the paint eventually wore out as it was running up the steps. So we had, I don't know how many footprints that was. So it took all of us to stop what we were doing and go and start cleaning up these footprints. So we started on the carpet areas first, or the rug areas first, and left the hardwood floor areas for last because we knew that would wipe up. So it took us a total time, probably about an hour and a half, to make sure we got all these footprints up. So that's the kind of thing that can happen. I've got a good friend that one of his crews were painting on a job, and one of their dogs actually, the customer's dogs actually got in the paint and brushed up against the back of their sofa. So it spread paint clear across the back of their sofa. So these are the type of things we're trying to avoid. Something else that could happen is your pet walks behind one of our guys and they're coming down the ladder, and then they end up stepping and stumbling off of the back of your pet because they weren't expecting a pet to be right behind them. So we'd like you to just take your pet, put them in a different room while we're there, or in your backyard's fine, wherever else, but we just really don't want them underfoot or where they can run into the wet paint. It's hard enough to keep my guys from putting their hands in the paint, or we worry about you coming in and you're comfortable in your home and you forget, you know you're paying us to paint, but you forget that we just painted something and you put your hand into it. I know if my wife is ever out on a job, first thing she does is stick her hand in the wet paint, and she knows that's all we do is put paint on, but it's just not human nature to not touch something. So, and animals, dogs and cats, they don't know it, they know even less. So.